Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Ben Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. So, I rarely do these kind of videos, especially when it comes to the GOAT debates anymore on this channel. I used to sometimes, but at this point, I don't do them anymore because it's really gotten out of hand with a lot of people saying ridiculous takes, too much biases, ridiculous standards, and it's just getting way out of hand. And what really set the precedent for this video that I'm making today, I was on listening to FYF Sports Debates. Salute to Lamont Lane. And what he was talking about was his placement of Kobe Bryant in the top 10. Now, based on the criteria that he has it. Now, everybody's gonna have a different criteria of what they place it as the GOAT or as one of the greatest players in NBA history. He had Kobe Bryant outside of the top 10, which is fine. That's his opinion. But the one thing that really disgusted me, and it's not about what he said at all. It's not about that at all. It's about the fact of how people in the chat that I saw really was acting out of hand. There were a lot of, spam accounts that basically were saying, repeating the same regurgitated lines every single time, always trying to twist it around and try to make it into a LeBron James type of discussion, because a lot of them can't accept the fact that they weren't legitimate Kobe Bryant fans, even during the time when he was alive and well. So when I was looking at the whole live stream, I was just looking at it just in just pure disgust, because lots of people, even older generation of fans, can't accept the fact that that Kobe Bryant, as great of a player as he was, let's keep that in mind. As a great player as he was, there were a lot of things in his resume are just incomplete. Now, people continuously keep saying that Kobe Bryant was a co-star to Shaquille O'Neal. What I remember back in the day, in the 2000s, okay, I still remember this back then, they looked at Kobe Bryant as nothing more than a sidekick. And it's a fact, he was a sidekick. Nobody can dispute that at all, unless if you're an irrational Kobe Bryant fan that keeps regurgitating the same nonsense every single day. He was a sidekick. There was no dispute to that. Yes, he had all-star appearances. Yes, he was an all-NBA player. All those things. The problem is that he never really got the recognition of that because he was nothing more than a sidekick. And a lot of people in the NBA Discord tend to forget about that, because the real number one option between Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant those years was Shaq. Shaq was the main apex of those championships. There's no disputing about that. Kobe has admitted to that. Many have admitted to that. But I find it very, very hilarious how many literally tried to glorify Kobe Bryant even further and try to minimize what Shaquille O'Neal was doing. Now, a lot of the stuff that those guys had at that time was phenomenal. But the problem was between the two was that they always had high, strong egos. And they couldn't accept the fact that they had to see their differences together and work things out and talk to each other, because they could have accomplished even more championships and they would have basically been one simpler unit together. In particular, Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, by that time, as he was getting older and as he refused to get into shape a lot, Kobe Bryant was getting better and better rapidly. And so, how are you going to sit here and try to keep yourself as the number one option, and you haven't even gotten yourself in shape during those times? Why did it take Kobe Bryant to get yourself into altercations with the man just to get you into shape? It just literally was ridiculous how Shaq was doing things. So anytime when Shaquille O'Neal tries to cover up some of the things that he was doing, listen, you got to take that with a grain of salt. We all have the facts. He had legitimate beef with Kobe Bryant because Kobe tried to push him to get into shape and Shaq wasn't willing to do that. And the only reason why he was able to get away with that is because he was the number one apex, until it got to a point where his health, attrition, and his ego basically forced the change in 2004. Because by that time, Kobe Bryant was getting tired of being a sidekick to Shaquille O'Neal. So, where I have Kobe Bryant in the top 10, I have him between at least 9 and 8, because I respect the accomplishments that he obtained. I respect the fact that he was able to win 2 out of 3 when he was the number one option. And unfortunately, and I think Lamont Lane put up a very, very good point. If Shaquille O'Neal would have been the same role as a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, where he succeeded the fact that he was no longer going to be the main option anymore, and had to relegate himself as a second option and continue to win more championships, I think there would have been a very, very better ending to the two guys that were playing together for so many years. Like I said, the egos between the two is what broke them apart, especially on Shaq's end. Now, there's no denying what Kobe was. Kobe Bryant had a huge ego, and he wasn't going to relegate himself to a sidekick as much anymore after they won their 3 championships. But let's be honest about something here. Kobe Bryant was pretty much pushing Shaq out the door because Shaquille O'Neal just would continuously kept babying his injuries. He refused to get into shape. It became absolutely ridiculous. And I can understand where Kobe was coming from. But at the same time, Kobe Bryant didn't do any favors either. There were a lot of fans, even back then, that hated Kobe. So anytime I've had to hear people say, oh, I was a huge Kobe Bryant even way back then. No, you weren't. There were a lot of Kobe haters back then. Even in the media, even within the fans, everywhere. If social media was at its apex back then, Kobe would have been the most hated athlete in this generation. Without a doubt in my mind, Kobe would have been the most hated athlete because they really hated the man. And that's one of the reasons why he didn't get the recognition for MVP until late into his career in 2008 when he won it. But then after he won his 2 or 3 championships, he got hurt, and it really hurt his, legacy a little bit because he was fighting so hard to continue to try to keep up with the pace of winning, and he desperately wanted to win his 6th championship that his body gave out on him, and the Lakers did absolutely no favors to help Kobe Bryant achieve his 6th championship as he got older. So it was all the way around. So, but to me, Kobe Bryant's not in my top 5. I'm sorry. I know there's going to be a lot of people that love Kobe Bryant, including a lot of people here on YouTube. But the problem is, Kobe Bryant's accomplishments doesn't warrant top 5 consideration. When I think of top 5, I think of guys like Wilt Chamberlain. I think of guys like Bill Russell, Kareem, you know what I'm saying? LeBron, Michael Jordan. Those are the guys that deserve top 5 recognition. And LeBron James, unfortunately for many, y'all gonna have to accept this, LeBron James is already top 3 in terms of the greatest players in NBA history, bar none. You cannot deny that. His accomplishments, his records are going to be left unbroken for a long time. And unfortunately, Kobe Bryant's, accomplishments and records are not enough to warrant that kind of top 5 recognition. I'm sorry. These guys in my top 5, they already have a lot more accomplishments, and their stats back up their accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, in my top 5, I don't have them in specific order. I have Bill Russell, I have Wilt, I have Kareem, I got Michael, and I got LeBron. Those are my top 5 players. And LeBron obviously is also considered top 3 in my book based on his scoring, based on his records, based on his accomplishments, and he's already doing it even at the early ages of 40. Something that Kobe Bryant was not able to do due to injury. So at the end of the day, guys, a lot of you Kobe Bryant fanatics, and a lot of MJ fake fanatics, y'all gonna have to start get your emotions out of your head. You guys are gonna have to start using more research, and you're gonna have to start watching more games. Stop watching highlights. Stop watching, little clips here and there. Start watching the games and start making analysis in your mind. Use your brain. Use your research. It's like I'm talking to Trump fanatics every single day that don't do research because they always go off of propaganda every single day. Same thing in the NBA Discord. Same thing in the mainstream media. It's literally annoying. I get tired of it because then when somebody, when somebody sits there and says, "Oh, I don't watch much basketball anymore," I immediately cut you off. Because if you haven't watched that much basketball to have a very constructive opinion, you don't have nothing to say to me, and I don't take your opinion seriously. So that just is what it is. So Kobe Bryant, in my book, is in the top 10 in my book. But there's going to be a lot of new generation of players, and keep this in mind. These new generation players right now, they're already making their leaps and bounds and pushing themselves into the top 10 discussion. And when it's all said and done, one of these people are going to have to be knocked off the list. It could be a Kobe, it could be a Magic, it could be a Bird. But the bottom line is these new generation of NBA players now are making their cases known right now. And when their careers are over with, barring that they don't get injured significantly, they're going to put themselves in a position where you're going to have no choice but to knock one of these players off. It's okay. But there's going to be too many hell-strong people that just refuse to do it, and they're going to minimize the accomplishments of the new generation of NBA players. And it's not right, and it's not fair. So I'm going to discuss about that in another video. But as far as Kobe is concerned, I have him between 8 and 9. That's basically due to his respect I have as a player and his accomplishments and what he did as a basketball player. But he's not top 5. I hate to break the news to you guys. So that just is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.